Hey guys, what's up? It's Phoebe from Alternative Twist Radio. Today we have a very special guest for our artist spotlight. It's Nzondi, Ace of Horror. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Phoebe. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for playing the song. This is really I'm really stoked to be here.
So happy you were able to take time and chat with me. When you sent in your song, Teenage RockStarr, featuring Fredro Starr, I love that song. It was a really cool beat. Made you want to dance, and it was something different from what I'm used to. So I was like, we need to get him on the studio, get him, in the station.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it is kind of different. One thing of note when you listen to it, and especially when Fredro comes on, Fredro is a part of an iconic, legendary hip hop group called Onyx, and I don't know, years ago we used to watch this show. I didn't watch it as much. He loved the show, and I watched it a couple of times. It's called True Blood, which of course was about vampires. And this song that we did together is based on a novel, one of my upcoming novels called Blood Team. So it's about vampires. So when you hear his verse, he's actually talking about vampires. So that's what makes it, why it seems a little kind of gritty. You're like, wait a minute, what? We're talking about, fighting against vampires, basically. So yeah.
You had like a little cartoon, theme for your thumbnail cover. And when I saw that, I was like, ooh, that's kind of dark. I like it because back in the day, I was into like dark gothic stuff. So I was like, okay, yeah. Let me check it out. I like it,
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of like Metallica, and I love, like how they did a lot of their covers. There's another group that used to do covers like that. I wasn't really a big fan of them, but they like all of their covers are like that. Not Mudvayne, I can't think of the name, but a really hard rock group, and they do a lot of covers. It's like horror and cartoonish, but really, really cool. So yeah, that's why I got the inspiration to do something like that.
So I was reading your bio, and you're a Bram Stoker award-winning author. So not only are you a singer, you're an actor, you're an author, and a music producer. And now you're singing rock songs with the drummer from Puddle of Mudd, which I love.
Yeah.
Love Puddle of
Thank
Mudd.
you.
And you already mentioned the hip-hop artist, Fredro Starr. So what's that like working with two kind of genres?
One word, amazing. I mean, it really is a blessing to have been introduced to so many phenomenal artists over the years. And Dave, man, I always said he was like the best drummer in LA. I mean, he's or in the world, I don't know, but definitely in LA. I mean, he's just a phenomenal drummer. So for him to get on the track, and I was texting him the other day, and he was like, "Oh my God, it sounds so good," because he never heard the finished product. And I'm like, "Yeah, you gotta make you sound great, And just working with Fredro, that was really an honor because, we've been friends for a long time, but to do a song, and I'm not really, a singer or musician, I'm not in that genre, I'm an author. And to put out a song and for having an established, iconic artist to jump on it, friends or not, meant a lot to me. It meant that he really thought the song was cool, and he really made the song even more of a headbanger to me. So, we're really happy about that.
So cool. So how did you already establish some awesome connections? You found the Puddle of Mudd drummer, Dave, and you also found the hip hop artist, Fredro Starr. How did you find those kind of connections so early on? Because like you said, you're an author first, but then you came into music. How did that happen?
It actually was the other way around. I was a jack of all trades, master of none. Actually, later I learned that there's a longer part of that that doesn't mean what we've all thought. But I was a jack of all trades, and I hadn't mastered anything. So I used to do music a lot. And some hip hop artists named Greg Nice and Smooth B were part of a group called Nice and Smooth, and they embraced me and took me in. And I was just starting music at the time when I met them. And through them, I met just tons of different artists all across the board, going on tour with them and just hanging out with them and going to their shows. So that's kind of how I met so many different artists on that level. And how I met Dave, I was recording. I had a band back in the day called Webslinger. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I don't know if you can see Spider-Man over here. I'm a big
I see
Spider-Man fan. Got the rock outfit on. And, so I had a band called Webslinger in LA and in New York. I had two different bands. And, just from recording in LA and putting some music down, through mutual friends, I met Dave Moreno in the different bands he was in at the time. He played in quite a few different bands over the years. And, we got to be friends. And I had to have him on that track. So that's kind of how. And then later, when I realized that I needed to master something, because I was dabbling in so many different things and not mastering anything, I started taking classes, and I got a lot of mentors, and I joined a lot of different groups and societies, writing societies, and I learned how to write novels properly. And that's really how I became an author. So I became an author, an established author, after 20 years of being in the music industry and never really finding my niche in that industry.
What's up with your music coming out? You having a new album that's going to be released? What's your music career going to be like in the future?
Okay, so this is an exclusive. No one knows this except for the record company. So, because I have a new novel coming out, called Blood Teas. In the novel, the characters are in a band called Toxic. So one of the album covers that we have kind of shows the band members. The song is about one of my main characters in the book. Her name is Elle. And she's a teenage rock star and a vampire in the book. And so it's an ambitious taking, but what we want to do is come out with a group, almost a fictional group. Remember the Monkees back in the day?
Yeah. Okay.
Or the Archies,
Yeah.
So we're creating really a fictional band, so the upcoming songs, I'm still going to sing the next song that, I'm going to be in the studio next week and sing the next song, but eventually the band is going to be featured, and we're going to feature the songs featuring the female lead artist, eventually. So we're kind of like getting the world ready for this new band, Toxic, that's going to be this fictional band, and it opens up a whole new door for graphic comics and cartoons, all of those types of things that we're kind of negotiating and dealing with now. That I'm working with a couple of Hollywood producers to try to get some of these projects off the ground one by one, so got to get one off first before, other stuff kind of takes off. So you're the first person to ever hear that.
Oh my goodness, what an honor. So I'm going to have to write that down. So the band name that you're going to be creating, this fictional band, is called Toxic, and it's going to be, let me write that down, band.
And the name of the band is on her, if you look at the picture, on her bass drum, it's just Toxic. That's the name of the band.
Oh, I did remember seeing that. And then it's out of your book, and your book is called what now?
So here's another little trick. I'm not really one to tell my main title. So the subtitle is Blood Teens.
Okay.
That's the subtitle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blood Teens. Got it. Oh my goodness. That is so exciting.
Yeah.
So
cool. I'm really excited.
Yeah, because I was looking at the cover, and then I was trying to put the pieces together of how you came up with the title and the song, because that's such a teenage rock star. That's such an interesting title for a song. So I was like, okay, let me just find out. Maybe when we're talking, then he'll let me know more of the backstory. So that's really cool. And
one more quick thing on the backstory. I wasn't going to tell you. I feel like I should tell you.
Okay.
So when you go back and listen to the lyrics, okay, so years ago I used to live with NSYNC's manager, Doug Brown. And when Doug and Johnny Wright, that was NSYNC's manager, they also had Britney Spears at the same time, and they had Backstreet Boys. And I think after they went on tour with NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, dropped them as a client. So back then, I was in the studio all the time, going back and forth to seeing Britney and NSYNC and Chris and all those guys. And they barely knew who I was, because I was the guy that was with Doug, the co-manager. And so the lyrics of the song were written about the way the industry has treated Britney. That's really, you know,
Oh, wow.
that kind of started the song. And then as I started writing, the novel, you know, it just grew its own life, and it became the character, you know, my main character in the book, Blood Teens, L. But it started out as just kind of like, so when you hear stuff like Kiss the Bride They're Married To, The Darkness That We All Speak To, if you remember when Britney kissed Madonna and she was dressed as a bride, that's where that line comes from, where it means kiss the brides we're married to, the darkness that we all speak to. So yeah.
Now, talking about Madonna, you did also tell me in our correspondence that you danced with Madonna. So did you dance with her on the tours? Were you in the music videos?
No, not on the tours, not the music videos. Here, okay, so, oh my God, such an embarrassing story. So this was a long time ago. This was 1987, 88. And I was in college, my second year in college. I was with a friend, a couple of my friends. We call English Bobby, Ice. You know, I thought, you know, we call him English Bobby.
Oh.
And Scott Gordon Summers, his pops was the ambassador for Jamaica at the time. You know, we hung out a lot. We all went to C.W. Post Long Island University, and we went to the club called The World, this dance club called The World. And Scott, you know, he was a worldly guy, and he met a model downstairs in the bottom floor. And so once he started talking to the model, Bobby and I were like, okay, well, we're gonna go somewhere else. So we went upstairs, and the music is just pumping, you know, that garage, Frankie Knuckles music, you know. And Bobby says to me, Ice, look, that's Madonna. And I'm like, no, that's not Madonna. And I looked, and I said, oh, that is her. And I said, I'll be right back. And she was wearing, if you remember, like a prayer and all that during that time. She really was big, married to Sean Penn at the time. So she's wearing a hat and just that whole Madonna look, you know, back then that she used to wear, like a virgin, and you know that time. And I walk up to her and I go, hey, you want to dance? And she goes, yeah. And so we danced, and I'm dancing with her. We're doing house music, and you know I love house music, so I'm like doing, you know, just rocking it, you know, doing my steps and stuff. And she had a friend with her who, she said, well, this is Debbie. And I believe it was Debbie Mazar, because I think they were really tight back then. And so Debbie was standing like next to us, but I didn't pay any attention to Debbie. I was just dancing with Madonna. Debbie was kind of like, you know, the girlfriend that's standing over here. But me and Madonna was like really into each other, right? And so I'm like, let me show Madonna how I can really dance. And I do this spin, right? And I do the spin like, you know, I'm doing that. Woo! And my elbow hits her hat. And when my elbow hit her hat, I thought it was going to flip off. It was so quick, but the hat stayed on. So, you know, it was kind of like a quick, you know, my heartbeat just pounded like, you know, just trip hammered for a minute. But she kept dancing. So we danced for a good, I don't know, 2-3 songs, 15, 20 minutes. It was just a great time. And when another song came on that was kind of like the club breakup song, you know, everyone was like, the song's not good, they could go get drinks, you know, stupidly trying to act cool, you know. So a lot, you know, I'm formerly known as Ace Antonio Hall, you know. My new projects are going to the name Nzondi, but everyone knows me as Ace, and I go, you know, hey, so my name's Ace, what's your name? And she goes, you know who I am. If you've ever seen Madonna, you know how abrasive she is and how just upfront she is. And when she said that, it totally humiliated the heck out of me. And like a dog with his tail between his legs, I totally shrunk and said, okay, thank you for the dance. And it just walked away. And that was my Madonna moment. And I got to tell you, since 87, I have dreamed about that moment at least 100 times, how it could have been different. Hey, so, hey, let's go have a drink. But I tried to be so cool that she embarrassed the heck out of me. And so, yeah, that was my Madonna moment. She probably doesn't even remember it, but I remember it for a lifetime.
So you didn't quite realize that was Madonna, or you were just trying to be like, oh, hey, what's your name, baby? What are you doing?
Baby. Yeah, hey, baby, what's your name? I'm H.
So just,
let's try to be cool. Come on, just be yourself. Just say, hey, Madonna, this is great. It was an honor. Hey, you want to get a drink? No, it have to be cool. So yeah, I blew that one, man. So cool, I was corny.
Should try to get closure, try to go to an event that Madonna's there. Be like, you remember me because I remember you all my life. I need closure.
One day that is going to happen. I know for a fact. One day we're going to meet and talk about it. And, I know for a fact that's going to happen one day.
Too funny. Oh,
so
that's
Madonna,
such
if you ever hear this, let's have a drink.
Find him. You gotta find each other.
Yeah.
Oh, get that redemption. Oh, that's too funny. That makes for an awesome story. That really does.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
So, why don't we watch your teaser video that you sent over for Teenage RockStarr featuring Fredro Starr?
Oh.
I think I've always been a storyteller. I love music, but man, it's just so much going on inside my head. So I just want to do something that, I don't know, that I can really be proud of.
That was an awesome video. Thank you so much.
I'm glad you like it. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So do you want to tell me about the shooting process? That video was very cool. It was short, but it was sweet. Tell me about the process behind that.
Sure. So the guy that shot the video actually worked with me on a show called Bel Air. I was a stand-in for the Will Smith character on the show called Bel Air that just came out. The first season last year. The second season's coming up. We're going to start shooting next week, in about 2 weeks. And Max. So Max shot the video in LA, and we kept getting these delays, and we couldn't get the model. We couldn't find the model. My first model got a gig somewhere out of country, and she had to leave, so she gave me another model, and then she got a gig in New York. She had to leave. So finally I called up a great friend of mine, Amber Schwartz, who had done a lot of my casting and some other projects. And she found this wonderful modeling company who brought, I have to look at her whole name because it's a little unique, Bibi Rahimi, who's also a wonderful chef, and she's a beautiful model. And by the time we were able to shoot it, I was in New York. So they shot it in LA. So I had to do the whole thing remotely on Zoom. So I was there, but not there. So that was pretty interesting. It was the first project I ever did that was, I was thousands of miles away. But we got it done. It was great. She was masterful. She's a great actress as well. And so she really put a lot into it. It's short because Max, his style, the videographer, his style is doing short form videos for Instagram. So we talked about doing a short form video. So I actually have 4 or 5 different videos that are short form, less than 50 seconds, of the Teenage RockStarr song. And that particular one was inspired because my father recently had been, I was on 125th Street in Harlem, New York, and I saw this mural that was attributed with my father's picture on it. Him and a group that he was a part of, AJazz. And, a lot of things are happening for AJazz as far as people are starting to know that they started the Black Beautiful movement. There's been a documentary that I'm in, and I'm speaking about my dad, and they feature my dad a lot. And that documentary has won 7 film festival awards, including the Cannes Award Festival. And so when I saw that mural, the next day we went to Central Park and we shot some stuff. And so that short film, that video, was really kind of about me wanting to do something to make my father proud of me, and something that I could really be proud of. So that kind of is the inspiration behind that video. So I'm glad you showed that. That's great. Appreciate it.
What an awesome story. And it's so inspirational too, and very, very emotional and sentimental at the same time. So it's cool to get that kind of backstory behind a short film like that. So you mentioned just a little bit about shooting the new episodes, the new series of the Fresh Prince, right? So, and I've been seeing a lot of news about that on entertainment news. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that? Are you able to?
I mean, when the series got picked up, it's a dramatization of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which was a comedy, a sitcom. So this is really more dramatic. It has some comedic elements in it, but it's a lot more dramatic. And so when it first got picked up by the Peacock Network, they picked up 2 seasons right away. So I stood in for the multi-talented singing, juggling, acting, just a beautiful young man named Jabari. What's his last name? Jabari Banks. And I stood in for him. And standing in is basically, for those who don't know, it's kind of like a stunt man, except I don't do stunts. I did kind of stunt kind of stuff with Jabari. But basically, I set up the camera work, the light. I stand in as his actor. I learn the lines, I learn the words. So one time, I even had to do a scene. I had to learn the words and I had to shoot it on camera. So we do that part. I do that part, and so we start back on September 6th. And it's funny. It's a whole new. A lot of the staff is kind of new. So I really don't even know if I'm coming back, but I think I'll be back. I'll find out pretty soon next week. But at any rate, I'm flying back in September.
Well, I can't wait to watch it and see how it comes out. And the whole time I'll be watching thinking, okay, was this what he was doing also? Because you understand, and I can just imagine you off to the side watching. And, so I'll be like, is he there right now? He's off camera. I can't see him.
Those the simplest stuff that you see, because he's like, he's a young guy. I'm like up there. And I mean, there was a scene one time where he's coming down the staircase of the mansion. Beautiful mansion. Oh my God, the mansion is incredible. He's coming down the staircase of the mansion, and he's like bouncing the ball, and he slides down the rail, which is not fun to do because it's a big rail, and you got to be careful because it's not, it's fast. It's a heavy incline. He slides down the rail, jumps off, spins around, bounces the ball, does a spin and shoot. That whole thing is like really not an easy, choreography to do. And so I'm doing that several times, because the camera has to work it out, moves and stuff around it. And it's just stuff like that. It's really fun to do. There's a dancing scene that he had to do. And, it's like a cut scene, and he's dancing, for a long time, like at least, I feel like 50 to 50 feet, he's dancing. And so for the rehearsal, I'm dancing. I'm dancing. I'm not just doing like no little point. I'm doing like, what his generation of dancers is doing, and everyone was like, oh my God, I didn't know you could do that. So I kind of take it to the next level when I stand. And I also worked on a show called Star Wars, one of the Star Wars shows, Boba Fett. And there were scenes where we actually had to fight with the lightsabers. And we're actually really fighting and flipping over each other and falling. Now they have a huge stunt team that does all of that, but not doing the rehearsals. Actually doing the rehearsals, but when they start to rehearsal, they bring the stand-ins in. And again, I remember, what's her name? Bryce Dallas Howard. She was directing the episode, and we do this whole fight scene. And when we finish, she runs up to me and goes, "Oh my God, guys, that was great. Are you okay?" Because I really, we're following the whole thing. So, "Are you okay? That was great." And so that stuff like that really makes my day for someone who I love Bryce Dallas Howard. They come up to me and say, "Ace, great job," So yeah, standing in is kind of fun. It's like a stunt man, except I don't do the stunts, not all the time. So yeah, that's what I do.
Very nice. Well, so awesome. I'm so happy you were able to take time and talk to me today. Tell me all your awesome stories and tell me about your music too. That was really cool. So I'm looking forward to hearing more of your music, more of your work in the future. So thank you so much for coming on with me today.
Thank you. I really appreciate being here. It was great.
Thanks for watching, guys. Please share, like, and subscribe to our channel and find us on all of our social media, links in our bio. Thanks.